Okay, we're going to do a real quick field strip and cleaning of a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380. This is a fantastic little firearm. I did a little shooting on it, and it's gotten a little bit dirty, so I got to take care of that. So first thing we're going to do, of course, is unload the weapon. Take the magazine out. Check to make sure there is nothing or no rounds in the chamber. All right, first thing you need to do to take this apart is lock the slide back with the slide lever. Now this is the takedown lever. You want to move that down. You want to force it down into the 6 o'clock position. It doesn't want to go. Now it flipped all the way around. It's just held in by a spring, so then you just kind of grab it and work it loose out of there. Doesn't come out easy, and there's a little spring right there that holds it in place. So once that is out, grab a hold of the slide, push it back, release the slide lock lever, and allow it to come forward, and it will slide right off the front of the gun, just like that. All right, to continue field stripping, it's just a matter of pulling the spring out and then removing the barrel. It is now completely disassembled and ready to be cleaned. My favorite time-saving tool to clean any one of my pistols, clean the barrel anyway, is with the Boresnake. The Hops Boresnake, Hops, same ones that make the solvent number 9. Basically, a Boresnake is just a knitted lanyard kind of a thing. It's got built-in copper brushes here, a couple of those, and then a whole bunch of cotton weave that we're going to force through there, and it's going to clean out that barrel really well. So I'm going to just feed it through. Instead of using rod and patches, you got to soak the patches a couple of times and force them through. We're just going to, it's nice and tight. It's doing a good job cleaning that. And personally, I like to put it through twice, and after 2 times through, that barrel is usually pretty clean. All right, look through there. It looks pretty clean. Now, I'm just going to take a little solvent and clean this feed ramp here. So I've got some Hops number 9 in this really handy dandy pump dispenser, and I'm just gonna use a little of this right around the opening here, a little extra clean. Gonna use a couple of Q-tips, get that clean. A little bit around the outside here. My barrel is now done. Next, I'm going to clean the slide. You can see it's got a little bit of crud built up there. Take a little bit of Hops solvent. Just kind of slather it on there everywhere. Just kind of slather it on there real good. All right, make sure you get that bolt face there under the extractor. Make sure all that gets a good bit of solvent on there. Make sure you don't get any cotton strings on there. You can just clean those off. And then we're just gonna keep getting some fresh cotton swabs until the gun's pretty clean. So just keep doing that till the gun is clean. Okay, once you got that pretty clean, depending on how much of a neat freak you are, I like to get mine pretty clean, but they don't have to be exactly polished. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this guide rod, and I'm going to put a little bit, I'm just going to clean off that guide rod real fast, kind of like that. Maybe clean the spring up a little bit. Nothing big there. Just get a paper towel, kind of clean that off. Just clean that up. Now I want to clean this whole area in here, especially the rails where the slide slides against. This moving area here, it's got a lot of crud built up in here. So we want to make sure we get all this. So again, there's a couple ways to do this. Get your hops number 9, put it on there. Get it down in there everywhere you can. Careful not to get too much of the hops on your plastic parts. I haven't had it do any damage, so I'm not super careful because I'm pretty good, but you don't want to get it on there for too long. And then just clean all these areas up where it gets dirt and where there's movement. You want to make sure you don't get any strings of cotton in there either, so you just want to kind of get all that cleaned up. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and get all that solvent off. All right, we've got all that cleaned up, got all the solvent off of there. Now it's time to lubricate so we can put it back together. So I always use the Slip 2000 EWL 30, or I think there's a 20, it's a little bit lighter. This is heavy duty lubricant. Now what that means is it's not a lightweight lubricant like a WD-40. It's fairly thick, so it's going to stay in place and it's going to stay on your gun even after you shoot it a lot. So it's I've used a lot of oils over the years, and this seems to be the one that maintains lubrication the longest for me. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops on each rail. I'm going to put a drop down in the mechanics here that are working. I'm going to take the slide. I'm going to put a drop or two here. I'm going to put a drop in each slide rail slot there. That's where it's going to be sliding against. I like to put a drop on the barrel. This is more to protect against just a little bit on there. And I just kind of wipe it around. This is just kind of keep the moisture off of this thing over time. Keep it from getting rusted at all. Maybe a little drop on the guide rod. Get everything coated in a little bit of oil. And that's going to work well for us. I'm going to put that back on the guide rod. And the other thing on this takedown pin, you want to put a little drop. It's going to help that go back in the gun. Not too much on there. All right, now we're going to put it back together. So we want to take the slide. You're going to put your barrel back in the slide, like that. Slide that back. Now this side of the guide rod goes in this little slot here. So you want to put it in the front like that. Push that up there. You get it to sit just like that. All right, now we're good. Okay, we want to line this up like this, and we're just going to push this right onto the gun. Now what we want to do, we want this barrel to be forward, to be sticking out like this, so that the takedown pin fits all the way through. So you're going to line this takedown pin up, push against that spring a little bit, and push that in there. Sometimes you're going to have to work it around a little bit. Push that in there, just like that. And now, the gun is ready to go. Back together. What you want to do, go back and forth with it, make sure the barrel sticks out like that. And it feels like it should. Now we have a little bit of extra oil. I like to work the slide a few times. Get the oil worked in. And then the last thing I'll do, get a paper towel or a cloth and wipe all the extra oil on there, off of there, because that's going to end up getting in my ankle holster or on in my gun safe and everywhere like that. So we just want to wipe off the extra so it looks real nice. A little bit off the back there. Alright. Make sure the laser still works. Might want to even put the laser up against the wall and use your sights to make sure that the sights line up pretty close with where the laser is, just to make sure you didn't knock that laser out of whack somehow. Then you're good to go. All set.